Shall we start?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good morning. Radhika, good morning. So, since this is anatomy and physiology class, we are doing some organ systems. Yesterday, we finished nervous system, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Today, we will be doing others, some important ones. Okay. So, I will start with the circulatory. All right. Shall we start? Yeah. I'll share the screen.
You want me to?
Let me try it. I did some damage. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's working. You can see it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, we will start with the circulatory system. Circulatory system, which is the main organ.
But we still can't see the data there. We just see a window. It's black.
Okay.
Did you share the whole entire screen or a window?
I'll try it again, okay?
Maybe you can try sharing just a tab or a window.
I am not able to see that. Even now you are not able to see, right?
No.
Okay.
Does it give you options like you want to share your entire screen or tab or window?
No, that I'm not getting. That's the thing. That is not coming actually. No,
Now we
nothing.
can see. Now we can see.
So this PPT you are able to see,
Yes.
but this thing is not coming, right? You are able to see this?
Yes.
Okay. So I will use this platform itself. Okay. You are able to see the whiteboard, no?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So circulatory system, which is the main organ.
Which system come?
Circulatory system.
Circulatory. Heart.
Heart, yes. And what is an artery and what's a vein?
The arteries take the blood to the different parts of the body and the veins take it back to the heart.
Yes, vein is from everywhere else to the heart, and arteries from the heart to the rest of the body. Okay. From the entire body to the heart is vein. From the heart to the entire body is artery. Okay, keep this in mind and we will start with this. I'll just draw a caricature, okay, not a very um, okay. So, heart is made up of 4 chambers. What are they?
Left atrium, right atrium,
Hmm.
left ventricle, and right ventricle.
Yeah. So, right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, and left ventricle. Okay. Now, if we look at it, the left side interacts only with the, let us say, the blood goes out from the left ventricle. Okay, the blood will first of all go from right ventricle to the left ventricle. It cannot go otherwise. So we have and right atrium to right ventricle, left atrium to left ventricle. So you will have valves here. Okay, so this valve is tricuspid valve. This is tricuspid valve, and this is bicuspid valve. Okay, so tricuspid and bicuspid. Now, let us say from left ventricle the blood is going. It will go to the entire body. See, when it is going to the entire body, it is oxygenated. It is filled with oxygen. Okay, that is why mostly when we draw the left side, it is red in color because it is oxygenated blood carrier. So the left ventricle, blood goes to the body and it is filled with oxygen. Now it will go, it will circulate, and it will, this is called as aorta. Okay, it will circulate and it will bring back deoxygenated blood, blood which has no oxygen left. Okay, it will bring it back to the right atrium. So from right atrium, it will go to right ventricle. Okay, now right ventricle, from here it will go to the lungs. Here let us say lungs. Okay, lungs will add oxygen to that blood. The deoxygenated blood is added with oxygen in the lungs. And then it again comes back to the left atrium. So this is pulmonary vein. Okay, and this is pulmonary artery. The one which is interacting with the lungs is pulmonary. So this is pulmonary artery. And the one which is interacting with the body is aorta. This is called as vena cava. Upper part is superior, lower part is inferior. So this is inferior vena cava. And this is superior vena cava. The upper part is superior vena cava. Okay, this is superior vena cava. That's all. That's all that the heart does. It's like a motor. It circulates blood. Okay, it doesn't do anything else. The
I
whole
didn't understand this superior and inferior vena cava.
okay,
So
anything
superior
which
is
is below, which is on the lower side, we name it as inferior.
lower
Okay,
side of the heart
lower side of the body.
of the
Like
body.
it is towards, facing towards the body, right? So it
Ah,
is
okay,
inferior vena cava.
okay.
Anything which is away from the other organs, it is superior vena cava.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'll show you the actual picture. So this is the one. Now you are able to see Aarti. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So right atrium, right ventricle, and then it will go to the through pulmonary artery. It will go to the lungs. It will be filled with oxygen. Then it will again come back, and through pulmonary veins it will come back. Left atrium, left ventricle. Then it will be sent to the body. That is all the heart does. See, also, since the left side of the heart interacts only with the lungs, and right side of the heart interacts with the, oh sorry, left side interacts with the body, and right side interacts with the lungs. So the muscular muscles are stronger on the left side, and it's not that strong on the right side of the heart. Okay. So this is exactly how the heart works. Now you tell me, what all can go wrong in this? What are the common terminologies that we come across? Problems related to the heart which we come across on the day-to-day basis.
I've heard of this wall relapse,
Hmm.
where the wall
What is
doesn't
it?
work, where the wall doesn't open and close properly.
Yes, yes, that happens. Then many a times we say that left and right chamber, there is a hole in between. So the blood flow is not very effective because some of them leaks to the right side, some of them leaks to the left side. So the blood which is being pumped is not very effective. Okay, so that is what they call as hole in the heart. They do a surgery, they correct that part. Okay, then what else? Terms related to the circulatory system or the heart which you come across. Physiological. The that particular hole between right and left chamber is called as atrioventricular septal defect. Okay, atrioventricular septal defect, AVSD. So the wall is not formed correctly, so the problem occurs. What else can affect the heart? Normal problems that you come across.
The heart muscles being weak, so they cannot
Hmm.
pump it from the lung.
Hmm. So in that case, what happens? In that
Pumping
case,
is
what
not
will
very
happen?
effective.
The person is not very active because basically the function of the blood, apart from other things, is to circulate oxygen to the entire body. So if the blood, let us say, pressure is less, so low blood pressure means the person will not have enough oxygen to carry on with the metabolism. So obviously that person will be lethargic. Will always feel tired. Will have weak metabolism. Okay, so very good. What else? What
The heart
is
valves can be leaky. The heart valves can be maybe blocked. I think that's the way my mother died. Actually, she was 60 and she had like 80% blockage in one valve and a 65% blockage in the other. But the funny part is she went like for like 4 days before she got the all clear from her. She had no issues. But like suddenly, like the blockages hadn't been detected before, and she had heart failure. And at the post mortem only, they knew that the blockages had been there. So I guess blockages in the valves, right?
yes? What causes it? What causes the
Um, I,
blockage?
could it also be cholesterol, stress,
Yes.
high pressure? I don't know.
See, it is basically triglycerides. Okay, cholesterol as you call it. So what happens is if the blood has more cholesterol and blood has to be pumped day in and day out, the heart has to work 24 by 7. And when it is constantly working with the blood with higher level of triglycerides, those triglycerides are bound to stick to the walls of those. So, over the period of time, it goes on accumulating and the width goes on reducing like this, right? So, what happens is whenever the passage is small and we have to pass on larger amount of fluid through it, what do? We end up pushing it harder. It happens even in our day-to-day life when the tea filter is very clogged or something is clogged, we end up pushing it harder, right? Even the drain pipes and all, we end up pushing it. So that's what the heart also does. It ends up pushing the blood harder. And over the period of time, how much can it sustain? It will go on. Blood pressure is that is what we call as high blood pressure. There is so much of pressure. So, over the period of time, it collapses. It has only so much of strength. Heart muscles are actually very strong. But how much can it withstand? More and more and more pressure it has to give. At one point, it collapses. Okay. So, this happens with obviously more triglycerides. But if from my perspective, I'm saying if somebody is autistic, okay, as I told yesterday, autistic person has social development issues and they have repetitive behavior. Typically, these two things are the ones. It's an umbrella term. There are many things, but if we consider only these two phenomena now, so when a person is having some social okay, adjustment problems, issues, so what he will do, he will not have good physical routine. Okay, they will be, they will have something or again other. They won't be very physically active. They will not do physical activities. They will. So these things affects the cholesterol level or triglyceride level. So this is called as dyslipidemia or triglyceride, high triglyceride, which happens in autistic children because of physical limitations. Okay, and they are also very selective with food. Few people have very high food choices. They just cannot eat certain things. They will eat only few things. Only those 2 or 3 things they will keep eating on a day-to-day basis. They will not explore or experiment with anything else. So this also affects their metabolism. You know, so the blood cholesterol level gets affected due to that, and food selectivity is a very big problem.
So this food selectivity is because of triglycerides, or
No, because of their, Aarti, yesterday I was telling, no, see, if a person is having more of parasympathetic
yeah,
nerve and sympathetic nerve imbalance is there. So, when they don't have much of, or let us say they have more of sympathetic nerve triggers, in that case, what will happen when they are exposed to anything new, hmm? Even food or people or place or outfits, anything, their sympathetic nerve becomes very active. They
okay,
become very restless. They become very um, they will have their heart rate will increase, their pulse rate will increase, they will start becoming very jittery. So these are the typical symptoms they will have. They are not able to handle that um, new thing in their life. So they don't want to disturb it. Therefore, they don't explore newer things. Okay, it's like stress disorder where they become very very uncomfortable. The neuron goes on attacking the brain very much, very highly. It starts affecting them. So they don't want to explore anything new. They are very comfortable with one, two, three, four, five things. They only want to do those five things. They don't want to disturb the equilibrium. Okay,
why
so
I asked
when
you this is because I can relate this very much to my husband and my younger son. My husband, he becomes very excited if there is any change, like any new thing or any problem. He's like a tension party. He suddenly gets, oh my god, how can we handle this? And similarly, my son is also like that. My younger one, who resembles more, he resembles his father more. So his
hmm,
habits are also like his father. So I was just relating this to. It reminded me of that.
no, it's really a very uncomfortable situation, and we should be sensitive towards it. See,
Uh,
many a times we are so insensitive, and we say that no, 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 you should be adventurous, you should try out newer things, you should travel more, you should eat different types of things. It's not so easy. It's not at all easy for many people. They like to have a very settled life, one place, one job, one kind of food, one kind of routine, one kind of outfits, or one kind of everything. They make sure that their life is very settled.
but actually, he is very adventurous. His husband
Okay.
is very adventurous, and my son.
Mm-hmm.
They like to try
Okay.
out new things. But then, when
Mm.
there is some situation where you have to, keep your cool and attend to it, they're not able to respond in the right way. They get very hyper. They start
Mm.
panicking. So I don't know how to help my son with that. Of course, can't do much with my husband probably. But then my son, I would like to like. I don't know how to get him to handle things better instead of just throwing up or freaking out like that,
Mm. So
throwing up
what do you do?
tantrums.
What do you do?
I just by I mean yeah, like counseling. I just tell him that see, this is not the way you handle a situation. You have a problem. Think about the solution. You cannot just shout or uh,
Mm.
get panic. I don't know if there is
Right.
some
Right.
other way to handle it. But I think a
That
lot
is
of
the
it is
only way.
part of
Yes.
genetics.
Yeah. 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 It happens.
I
It's
see
a
my husband
genetical
doing
thing.
the same. So, but then I feel I should do something about it for my son at least.
Mm. See, that's the maximum we can do. We can give them time, we can counsel them, we can calm them down, we can say, okay. See, we cannot force people to do things which they are not comfortable with.
Yeah,
But over the period of time, slowly we have to introduce them to newer things. We should put that thing in a perspective that they are comfortable with it. It's a long process. Sometimes we don't need to do that, but sometimes we need to do that because the outside stimulus is very high. It's not a it's not always up to our requirement. Okay, so that's what we need time, we need patience, we need to constantly work towards it. Yes.
and they are also very choosy about their food. That's why I asked you. They're very
They are
choosy
very
about their
choosy.
food,
They're
both of them.
very choosy. Yes, yes, yes.
I always have a fighting with my son when it comes to
Hmm.
lunch or dinner time. Every
Have
day
you
is a.
seen any typical pattern in his food choices?
I don't see any particular pattern, but I see that father and son have similar tastes. But
Okay.
I mean, food wise, I don't think there is any pattern.
Because I have seen children who are very, they have this phobia towards anything which is sticky or
Oh,
flowy or so because let us say rasam is there, okay. So there are kids who will not eat rasam at all because it is flowy. It is not in their control to eat that particular food. They prefer something which is in their control. Even though they like the taste, even though they like the flavor, everything, but just because its consistency is not in their control, they generally avoid that particular dish. So,
this is not. I mean, here this is not the case.
okay, this
He is just
these.
reluctant to try any new thing. Give him
Hmm.
some new dish, he'll say, "No, I don't want." That's all.
Okay. No, certainly there will be a reason behind it. Okay. There will be some pattern why he is refusing this particular new food and why he is accepting this food. There will be some pattern if we closely monitor it. No. Sometimes it is because of the spice level, sometimes it is because of the consistency, sometimes it is because of the certain food, they are very crispy, and some kids they are not comfortable with crispy consistency. Some very crispy food they don't like, very soggy food they don't like. So if there is a pattern, if we closely notice it, no, or maybe there is some previous experience, not with that particular food alone, just with a newer food item. They might have had an experience that, okay, I tried something new or I tried at a new place and that particular experience was not pleasant enough for me. So I don't want to do that at all. It has nothing to do with the food at all. It's with that place or with the way in which they have to go to that place, something associated. That's how it works generally, you know. I know
Maybe I
it's
have failed to find the pattern. Probably, yeah,
nice,
like you
you
said,
know,
probably there's some pattern in his food choice.
something um, which is bothering that person with that particular food or some. See, it's a broad thing. We can very well say anything new, or anything which is spicy, or that place, or the way in which they had to reach that place. So many things. Or the place is crowded, and there they got that food. Therefore, they have developed phobia towards that food. The food may not be the culprit at all. There are so many associated things which might have, yes. Okay.
Thank you, Pam.
Huh. So, this is what where we actually got confused in between. Okay, I was talking about certain children with autism who have very high food selectivity. Okay, so what happens is they have physical limitations. Their sleep pattern is also very disturbed because of, I told you, no, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous imbalance. And because of this, they will have lipid imbalance, triglyceride imbalance, sleep is disturbed, food selectivity is there, and all these things put together will affect the heart. Okay, now you can see how various things affects. It's all in homeostasis, I would say. One particular problem affects the entire system. It is not just that particular thing that is not perfect. Because of that, other things are also slowly, because lifespan is long, we live for 60, 70, 80 years. So over the period of time, other things also get affected. Hmm. Good morning, Revati.
Yeah, good morning, ma'am. I thought I'll not disturb.
Both were
No,
in
no, no,
discussion.
no, 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 not at all. And
Yesterday,
Mr.
the session
Akshay.
was
Yeah,
finished by 12:30.
yeah,
Yesterday,
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Akshay. He's also new. Okay. Anything else about um, cardiovascular thing which you would like to bring up? We were doing cardiovascular, circulatory system, AOT. Anything about that you want to ask? Anything that comes to your mind regarding cardiac function? Anything? Heart attack is not the word we use nowadays. It is cardiac arrest, high cholesterol or high lipid, triglyceride levels. Then we discussed about arterial defect, okay, that atrioventricular septal defect. Anything else that comes to your mind? What is this pulse rate? What is it? And what is this when we touch our heart and see, there is this lub dub sound is there. What is it?
contraction and expansion.
Yeah. Also the opening of the valve. Okay. So the valve opening, closing gives that noise. And every time, see, this much blood is released in the body. So that's how we check our pulse rate. Okay. How many times does that valve open and how many times that blood is let out in the body. So in 1 minute, there is some particular amount which is let out. So doctors will check the pulse rate and find out whether our blood flow is normal or not. When will it increase? Why do they check our pulse rate specifically during fever or um, any other problem? Why not otherwise?
I mean, generally, the heart has a constant uh,
Flow.
contraction and extraction, but then
Hmm.
when we are either sick, it might slow down, or when we are super excited, it might become
Yeah, yeah,
faster than
yeah.
the normal level.
Very true. So what happens when we are having some infection in our body? Okay. So obviously, see, to clear off the dirt from our body, we take bath. We wash our body with water. So the body has to clean our system through blood. For our body, the water is the blood. Okay, let us compare it with that. So, if there is some extra matter which has entered our body, infection or something, the body has to throw it out. Okay, so in that case, what the body does is it will first of all increase the temperature. Once the body temperature increases, automatically external organisms will start dying. And secondly, blood pressure increases. So it is washed off. More blood is released, blood pressure increases, so that the external infection gets washed off. That is our body's mechanism. Otherwise, we are taking medications and treatments, all those things are separate. But our body has its own mechanism to flush off the foreign body which enters it. Hmm. Okay. So that arteries, veins, heart. We have done. Now one more this thing is respiratory, that is the lungs. Okay, lungs is also very closely connected to the heart. So we will do that also so that you are able to relate with it. Lungs, circulatory system, respiratory system, the entire upper chamber we can. I'll share the screen again, okay? You are able to see? Okay. Again, I'll explain it in a very simple way. See, there are two ways in which anything can go from our mouth or from our nose. Okay, air can go specifically, sorry. So, we should actually inhale through our nose only, and anything solid goes through the mouth. So, this particular in this nasal cavity, okay. So, nasal cavity from here till here will be pharynx. And then once the esophagus also joins, after this is called as larynx. So the upper part is pharynx, the lower part is larynx. It will go down, it will branch out. Again, here lobes, we call it as left lobe and right lobe. See, this is exactly where the heart is located. So this part of this is actually the left lobe. Left lobe is actually smaller as compared to the right lobe because left lobe is where this is exactly where the heart is located. Okay. This is the right lobe. Now, this is trachea. This particular thing is trachea, and this is bronchi. Why you have to know this is we very often come across the term bronchitis. Bronchitis is when this bronchi is infected. Okay, this is upper respiratory tract and this is lower respiratory tract. So when the doctor says you have upper respiratory tract infection, that means the nasal cavity, pharynx and larynx is infected. Somewhere here the infection is there. Okay. And when the doctor says you have lower respiratory tract infection means it is these lobes, bronchitis, and we have alveolus also. Alveolus is the one which filters the blood. It adds oxygen to the blood. So here and all you have alveolus. Okay. So this is how the lungs look like. Lower respiratory tract and upper respiratory tract. Okay. Now I'll show you the actual picture. And this ends the, see, below this, below the lungs, there is a diaphragm. Below that, it is abdominal cavity. Okay, so abdominal cavity will have digestive system and liver and intestines, everything. So the upper portion and lower portion is divided by the diaphragm, which goes down, comes up, goes down, comes up. Every time, air goes inside the lung, the diaphragm will expand. Every time we let out the air, diaphragm will contract. Okay. You understood? This is a very simple system you might have come across many times. Okay, these are all involuntary muscles. Okay, what controls the involuntary muscular system? Autonomic nervous system, ANS. Okay, ANS will control the function of all these organs. It's okay. Now, what happens? What all problem can happen when it comes to the lung? Where all can we go wrong? Any idea? See, one thing is aspiration. This I am telling from a neurocognitive perspective, but normally also we come across all these problems. Anybody with neurocognitive issues, since their what is aspiration? Anybody knows what is aspiration? Okay, so what happens is, first, of course, our nasal cavity and pharynx and larynx, the upper respiratory tract is where we have mucus. All right. Mucus, what is the function? What is the role of mucus in our body?
To hold on to the dirt, dust particles.
Absolutely, okay. It is a protective shield by our body. So every time we inhale air, it is filled with so many foreign bodies, dust, infection, microbes, everything. So the mucus will absorb all those things. If there is more of it, if there is more of it, obviously the mucus will start coming out. We have to clear it off. So mucus is for protection, just like ear wax is also for the same purpose. So we are inhaling. First of all, our inhalation should be deep. We have to take ample oxygen for our body to be nourished. Many a times we don't do that. We don't breathe properly at all. None of us take ample oxygen and give ample oxygen to our body at all. So, especially if we are talking about child who is neurodivergent, inhalation is very shallow, exhalation is very shallow, and toxics they keep on building in their body. Okay. Now, aspiration means what happens? Nasal cavity, esophagus. We eat food through our mouth, we inhale through our nose. Sometimes what happens is this food goes to the nasal cavity, pharynx, right? That is when we cough it out, we remove it. But many kids are not able to do that. They don't have that neural response. They don't cough it out. They just swallow it. And the food or water or even mucus for that matter goes to the esophagus. And what happens, let us say vomiting. Vomiting is a reflex. Which particular neuron activity is responsible for that? Vomiting, blinking. That is medulla oblongata, right? The brainstem. So if the brainstem is affected, the child is not even able to vomit properly. When vomiting is actually a reflex action, but if the child is not able to vomit properly, that particular fluid enters the lung part. And lung is obviously infected. What is pneumonia? Pneumonia is this only, no? When there is excess fluid in the lungs and the lung is not able to throw it out, that fluid is infected, that is pneumonia. So that is why you come across so many cases where this so and so person died of pneumonia. Even though it's a very simple problem, but not many people are able to remove that fluid from their body automatically. There is excess of fluid in the lungs, it gets infected, they are not able to there is no proper exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the body, and because of that the organ fails. Okay, so that is aspiration. Aspiration actually causes a lot of problems. It's not like in our day-to-day life we just think that okay, aspirated some fluid or something, we just ignore it, but for many people it's a big problem. I have seen cases where people have died of aspirations. Special child, okay, the child actually could not vomit out, he aspirated, he got infected and he died because of that. So this is one problem. Then there is insufficient intake of air. When there is insufficient air, insufficient oxygen, exhalation is also insufficient. So more buildup of carbon dioxide in the body, right? So all these problems will come if we have nervous issues. Everything has to be controlled by the CNS. Any other issues related to the lung which you can remember or which you have come across?
All this wheezing, asthma.
Ah, good. I thought you will ask this. Good. See, what happens is upper respiratory tract, okay, pharynx and larynx. Now, invariably what happens when we have some sort of infection, it can be genetic disorder also, it can be some genetic disorder means there is inherently more amount of mucus which is produced by the body. So the mucus is always there, more amount of mucus is always there in the pharynx and larynx area. Again it is like this, mucus means it reduces. Okay, so there is so much pressure, the air is not able to escape freely. You understand, Prevati? Okay, so for some children it's a genetic disorder, for some of us it can be infection caused. Okay, this happens also when we are perfectly all right, but when we lie down flat we start coughing. Why does it happen? That's why we are often told to keep our head at a raised position, right? When we lie down flat, pharynx and larynx are pressed. So automatically the air passage reduces. When the air passage reduces, the body is not able to release or exhale air effectively. So that is when we start coughing. Coughing is a normal mechanism by human beings for releasing the excess of carbon dioxide which is built up inside our body. Okay, when we say that means excess carbon dioxide has to come out. Okay, body is not able to remove it naturally, so it is throwing it out through cough. So asthmatic children or kids with wheezing, they are not able to release carbon dioxide, neither are they able to take oxygen efficiently because of the narrow upper respiratory tract. Because of more buildup of mucus. That is what causes asthma. For few people, it's a very, chronic thing because it's a genetic problem. For them, it is chronically there. For them, there is more mucus always there in their body, because of which they are always having problem in their inhalation and exhalation. All right. Any other issue that you have come across?
Are some kids they keep spitting uh, the liquid from the nose and mouth. It keeps coming continuously.
For your baby, you are asking.
No, no, for children, special for the children when I go to take classes, I have seen children they
Okay.
keep the water keeps coming from the mouth.
That is because their, that particular muscles are not very effective. The salivary gland is producing saliva, but we have to
Swallow
keep
inside.
swallowing it, no? But swallowing requires so much of coordination. Muscular coordination we need, no? They don't have that much amount of muscular coordination, because of which it comes out. Even food swallowing requires so much of muscular coordination. They don't have that much amount of coordination. Therefore, it comes out. Okay. For little babies, obviously their organs are still developing. They cannot take more than we feed them more. Their organs are not so developed as to uh, take the entire thing. So they obviously throw it out. What do you mean by seizures? Epilepsy. What is it? Have you come across anyone with seizures? When seizures, for once it is called as seizures. When it is repeatedly happening, it is called as epilepsy. Okay. Have you come across anybody? What exactly happens at that time? Any idea?
The voice is breaking.
Okay. Wait. Am I audible now? You are able to hear me?
Might be my internet is not.
Okay. Okay.
No,
Aarti,
no,
you are
it's
able to.
Amna's internet. Your voice is breaking, but yeah, finally we are able to understand.
Now you
Once in
are
a while,
okay.
just once in a while. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. 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 So in seizures, what happens is the cortex area of the brain, there is abnormal neuron activity for few seconds. Okay, just for few seconds neuron activity is very abnormal, and at that time seizures happen when none of the muscles are in coordination. Once that neural activity becomes normal, obviously muscles get back to normalcy. So seizures are temporary changes in the neuron activity in the cortex area alone. Anything else? Anything else? Any other problem related to? Okay. Since we were talking about Down syndrome is a syndrome where that particular person has one extra chromosome. Okay, for those of you who joined today, Down syndrome children or adults, they have one extra chromosome. So what happens is automatically they will have more pressure in their organs. Their organ function is affected in various ways. Invariably, kids with Down syndrome will have valve deformity. They undergo a surgery to correct that valve. There is a hole between right and left side of the heart. And they also have, I told you about pulmonary artery, no? So that particular artery is uh, not very strong. So they have pulmonary arterial hypertension. Okay, mostly if you go through the assessment, if you come across those kids, you will get to know that they would have undergone a surgery for their heart and their lung. Pulmonary arterial hypertension they will have, and this also affects the endocrine system. They will have thyroid problem. This is a very normal thing. Any kid with Down syndrome, this is you will come across. All right. Any other doubt? Lungs, respiratory system, and circulatory system. You have any doubt? Anything that comes to your mind?
I just have one doubt. I don't know if it is a silly question, but so does the blood actually enter into the lung part, like you said, alveolus? Alveolus is the part which fixes the oxygen and blood, is it?
Lungs, you are asking?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Alveoli is the one which mixes, and yes, it's like a mixing and filtering both. Okay. So the carbon dioxide that is released, no, that has to be thrown out. That also alveoli does, and mixes oxygen. It's more like a filter only, filter and mixing. Anything else? Radhika, Mr. Akshay, Revati, Aarti. Clear with these things? Shall we go to the next? Oh,
I have one doubt actually. I wanted to ask this yesterday, but not related to this topic which you are taking. When do we exactly find the child is having some kind of an challenge? Because I have a student, I'm taking class for him. Mother says he is normal for almost 2 years. Later only they found he's got some challenges. So how do we?
there is no particular time at all, because many a times, even when they are 18, 20, they go through assessment. Nowadays, it has become very common because awareness is increasing. Okay, it purely depends on awareness. If the parent is not aware, then their assessment will be prolonged. The child will live with it till they are 18, 20. Nowadays, there are so many people who are going for assessment at the age of 25 and 30, and they are finding out that they have autism spectrum disorder, ASD. Okay, and then they change autism is not even it's not even a disorder. That's all I can say, because when you see other countries like US and all, they have started creating job profiles for people with autism. People with autistic traits are highly focused. They are very deep in their subject knowledge is very deep. They are focused, they are singular, they don't get easily distracted. So there are many jobs which require that kind of a profile. Let us say a surgeon. Okay, autistic people make great scientists and surgeons. So, most of them now, if you see, they will say that Albert Einstein was autistic. Leonardo da Vinci was autistic. That is why they could really delve so deeply into one particular topic. They see things which so-called normal people with normal IQ don't see. Okay, so nowadays what is happening is many people they get into a particular vocation. They find that they are not able to shine in that. They are not able to really bring out their best. Then they find out that okay, I'm not able to socially interact with my colleagues. I'm not able to really I'm interested in something else and I'm working for something else. Then they go for assessment. Then they find out that they have ASD. Then they find out that these are the areas in which I'm able to focus. Then they take up that particular area and they start working towards that. So many people are doing it. So there is no age limit. It's totally our, we should be aware. Awareness is what matters. See, if parents are aware of all these things, if they feel that the child, there is something called as developmental parameters. A, B, C, D criteria, if the child is able to meet at that particular age, that means the child is marking those developmental criteria. Talking, walking, eating. Okay. There are kids who are not able to do that. 8 months they are not able to do this. 1 year they are not able to do this. It can be delayed even up to 2-3 months. That's a huge time frame. That means the child is low in certain aspects. There are few parents who are able to notice it and they are able to do the assessment even that time itself. There are parents who don't notice it, they are okay with that. The child continues to live with that. Developmental parameters are bit up and down, it is not up to the mark. Then the child will go on living like that till 18, 20, 25 years. There is no particular age limit, it is totally awareness that matters. Okay? I think, nobody has any doubt? Okay, you will study child development also. I don't know whether it is there. It is there in your syllabus. So if you will study child development, you will study about this developmental patterns and all. Okay. So this is mainly these three systems only you have to know. Other than that, muscular, skeletal, they are all dependent on these three only. These are the major systems about which you have to know. So other systems, that is excretory or muscular or skeletal or digestive, everything is dependent on these three major systems only. So I'll just roughly go through muscular system and if time permits, very roughly skeletal system also. But anyway, if you know these three systems, that's enough. So, muscular system. What are three kinds of muscles we have? Mainly there are only three kinds of muscles that our body is made up of. Okay, I'll share the screen again.
Sorry, Akka, just sorry to interrupt you. I got a phone call, so I had to step out.
No problem.
What are the three main systems you said?
I will show it to you.
Okay.
Three main systems are, I think it's not this. Nervous system, circulatory and respiratory. Okay, you are able to see the screen? Hmm. So when we come to the muscular system, there are mainly three types of muscles in our body. One is skeletal muscle, one is cardiac muscle, one is smooth muscle. As the name suggests, skeletal muscles are the ones which gives protection to the skeletal system. Okay, they just have to stretch themselves. Nothing else. Just stretching, contracting. That's all they have to do. They are more of a protective shield for the skeletal system. Second is cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscle needs to work a lot. It has to work all through its life. So cardiac muscles are the strongest muscles. 24/7 they have to push and pull and they have to do pumping, everything. So cardiac muscles are the strongest of all three. Smooth muscles are what organs are made up of. Okay, our digestive system, excretory system, liver, pancreas, everything is made up of smooth muscles. So basically these three types of muscles is what you have to know. That's all. Now the difference in their constituency is skeletal muscles, they are very straight. They are stacked on one on top of the other because their function is basically only to stretch. So they are just stacked one on top of the other. That is skeletal muscle. Cardiac is more branched because it has to be flexible. It has to be very flexible, so it is branched in nature. Then smooth muscles, that is our organ muscles, they are more like cakes. Okay, they are one on top of the other. They really don't have to stretch much. That's all. So one is stacked on top, striated. That is called as striated. They are striated muscles. Cardiac muscle is also striated, but they are branched. Smooth muscles are not striated. They are non-striated. This is all you have in muscular system. Skeletal, cardiac, smooth, striated and stacked, striated and branched, and non-striated. Okay. So now if we apply them, okay, you got it? Three types of muscular cells. Now, as I told yesterday also, muscles are managed by which part of the nervous system? Voluntary and involuntary. Okay. So, involuntary is autonomic. Voluntary is somatic. Okay. So, autonomic is involuntary. Autonomic nervous system will take care of that, and somatic nervous system will take care of all our voluntary movements. See, when we do this stretching and all, this is all striated muscles. It has to stretch and contract. That's all. And they are stacked like this, one top of the other. So when we stretch, no, it's like this. It doesn't really have to bend or it doesn't have to do anything else. That's all. So mainly, it is the autonomic part of the brain and somatic part of the brain which takes care of this function. What are the problems associated with muscles that you come across in your day-to-day life? Let us leave this special cases, normal problems that you come across.
Muscle wastage.
Muscle wastage, yes. What is it?
The muscles, I don't know, probably like they start
getting weak, or I mean the density decreases.
Why does it happen?
What is that? I
Is
didn't
it
understand.
genetic?
She's talking about muscular wastage. Muscular wastage. You're able to hear me? My
Yeah, yeah.
voice
Now
is
I can
breaking?
hear.
Yeah, yeah. So, see what happens is if practically if we think about it, no, our growth takes place only for girls only till the age of 18, for boys maybe 21. Okay. After that, growth doesn't take place. There is no need for the muscles to develop after that. Whatever development has to happen has happened. That's it. After that, the fact is by the time we are 30, our body is prepared to die. Okay, because if we look at it from the scientific perspective, all these health information, everything, it has started coming out only in the past 50, 70, 100 years. But as ancient creatures, our lifespan was not more than 40 to 50 years. So by the time we reach 30, we have reached the middle of our life. That is how hereditarily we are made. Okay. So the growth takes place for the first 20 years. Then by the time we are 30, our body is prepared to break down. Okay. Beyond that, we have to break down our body and we have to make sure new muscle cells are constantly built. If we don't do that, no, the body per se will never do that. It's not genetically tuned to break down the muscles and rebuild the muscles, all those things. It is just genetically made to break it down and that's it. Okay. So that is why muscular wastage starts. Fat buildup starts and muscles don't build. Fat starts building up. You're understanding what I'm saying? So that's why when fitness enthusiasts or for exercising, muscular buildup is so important. It's not that it is for only those six pack abs or anything. It is even for our own survival. It's better if we constantly break our muscles and we constantly build our muscles. Because
And how do we do
inherent,
that?
okay, you lift a weight, something which is beyond. See, a child is very easily able to lift a bag and go to school and come back. That bag will be 5 kilos in weight. The child hardly feels anything because he's used to muscles getting broken down, building up. On an everyday basis, it happens. But for us, if we carry that bag, no, our hands will start paining because those muscles are all now, they are almost in the verge of dying. So we have to constantly keep lifting something, some small things, okay, which is beyond our comfort level. We have to lift some bags, some weight. They do weight training in the gym, but that is for those who can afford to. On a day-to-day basis, if that is not possible, we have to stretch ourselves. We have to do things which otherwise it's very difficult for us. Maybe பைய தூக்கிறது, bag தூக்கிறது, step, climbing up the step. Leg muscles will really stretch. If we climb up and down 3 to 4 times in a day, okay, then
So
the
that is
same
good,
is,
no? Like climbing up and down is good.
yes,
It's
it
not
is
the
good.
other way.
It is not. See, you have to maintain a proper posture because what happens is while climbing up and down, our posture goes down. We become like this. We, when we put our legs up, no, invariably we slouch. So back gets affected. So we have to make sure that our posture is proper and we have to do the up down climbing. We have to do weightlifting on a day to day basis. Okay, the same is I'm talking about just hands and legs. But for inner organs also, we have to constantly break those muscles so that they rebuild themselves. So some simple exercises, yogasana, all those things, when we do body weight training, planks, all those things. So core muscles we are breaking down. And once they break down, it takes 48 hours for those muscular cells to rebuild. You might have noticed, when you do something which is beyond your comfort level, some new exercise or some new, you're all dancers, okay, some new step or something, you will have that particular muscle will pain a lot.
Yes, the lactic acid formation.
Yes, yes. So it will continue for maximum 48 hours. Maximum is 48 hours. After that, the muscles have regrown. So you will not have that pain. So that particular effect goes on for 48 hours. After that, new muscular cells develop. Okay.
So that whole process is good. It's good
Yes,
for
it
the
is good.
body.
What is lactic acid development?
I mean, when you exert your muscles a little beyond the usual levels, there is lactic acid produced in that part.
Yeah. See, simplistically breaking it down, we need oxygen, right? And when we are doing something very vigorous, more oxygen is required, but we are not able to give. So, anaerobic respiration takes place. Without oxygen, respiration takes place. So, that is when lactic acid is formed. Lactic acid is basically, yeah, it gives us that pain, but over the period of time, as I told you, breakdown happens, rebuilding happens, so it balances out. Okay.
So basically, the activities that we're doing every day, the more we do, it's always good for the body. Because
Very good. Then.
I always hear these comments saying, take care of your health, you're running around the whole day, you're growing old, and all that. So it's like sometimes a little depressing for me because I like to be busy and go around and do things. So always the constant fear is there. Oh my God, am I overdoing things? Is it going to affect my health, etc.?
See, many people say that to me, that I'm so active, I do so many things, I put on weight, still I'm having so and so problems. What is wrong? See, one thing which we fail to understand is all these day-to-day activities that we do, we are doing it without much consciousness. Okay, we are just automatically doing them, and in the process, we end up using only few muscles. We have more than 650 muscles in our body. Okay, and breaking each one of them down and building each one of them on a daily basis is impossible. So what we end up doing is we end up using only very few muscles on a day-to-day basis. Rest of them break down, die down. The imbalance is there. That is where the problem comes. See, I'm not saying that we should not do it, but we should also make sure that we break down other muscles as well. On a day-to-day basis, I would say we hardly use 200 to 250 muscles. Rest 400 muscles start dying down. So that is where the imbalance comes, and that is where all the problems, pain, problems, breakdown, everything comes because of that only. So a bit more conscious usage of muscles. Conscious usage will come only when we are doing some conscious activity like exercises or yogasana, or even for marathon runners, they are using only that part of the muscle on a daily basis. 1 year of training and they can run even for 42 kilometers. Okay, their muscle, that part of the muscle is very strong, very healthy, but other muscles are not being exercised properly. So that is the whole problem that we as human beings undergo.
But
Okay.
dancing definitely is going to help building muscles and not others.
No, not at all. You have to keep doing new mudras or new, I don't know what you call it, but something new you have to keep trying. Only then. Because our body is very smart. The muscle memory, you might have heard of it, no? That particular muscle is very quick to grasp, okay, these are the ways in which I will be used. So let me grasp that and let me store it as a memory and it will grow around it. It gets used to it. Only 3 weeks time and it gets used to that particular activity. Then you have to challenge it in a different way. Same இப்படியே பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தானா that muscle is used to it. We have to do other things as well. Okay. We have to break that memory and we have to create a new memory. Hmm. Any other doubt you have? What is muscular cramp? Cramp or catch? Catch is for a longer duration, cramp is for a shorter duration. What happens exactly? It's a very general thing. Think about it and then you know. What happens in a muscular cramp?
Where the muscle gets blocked or something. Because after
Yeah.
that, the movement, I mean, something where the muscle gets locked or something. Because after that, you cannot
Huh.
move it.
So the muscular lock happens in when we say muscular pull. சுளுக்கு வந்துருக்கும் போல, that is when locking happens. Contraction and expansion, the muscle is in the contract state itself. It is not expanding. In the state we are. So that is when the pull happens. That's pulling in other organs, other muscles around it is all, they are also getting affected, no? Because this muscle is not coming back to its original form. So we have to pat it, we have to massage it, we have to exercising is impossible, it is very painful. But we have to do other things like, okay, come back to your original place, get back to your shape. Others have to work also. That is what is muscular pull. Muscular pull-off happens when we are in the same position for a very long duration. We sleep in a particular posture. Okay, for 3-4 hours we are in the same posture. For 8 hours we are in the same posture. The muscle will be stiff at that time. It will be like contracted stage. It is not able to expand. That is muscular pull. Muscular cramp. What is muscular cramp?
There's a sudden pain in that part.
That's excruciating.
Yeah.
That is all man-made only. Why does it happen? We do it to ourselves. Why does it happen? Any idea?
We are in the same position, no, for long time.
Huh. See, basically for cramp, the main reason is, see, there is sodium and chlorine. Okay. Balance is required for the muscles to function properly. For contraction and expansion, sodium and chloride is required. Fluid is required. So, yeah, when we are fasting or when we are doing some extreme physical activity for which the muscle is not used to, so there is imbalance in sodium and chlorine, there is imbalance in the fluid. Invariably during fasting, what we do is we don't eat food, but we don't drink water also. There is excretion is happening, lot of water is thrown out of the body. That is another topic, I don't want to get into that, but lot of fluid goes out of the body when we are fasting. Okay, we have to replenish ourselves, we have to drink more water when we are fasting. If we don't drink ample fluids while we are fasting, then sodium chloride imbalance takes place in our body. And when sodium chloride imbalance takes place, cramps happen. It's very short duration, all the muscles they really contract. They are not able to expand. But again, it's brain's way of telling, okay, stop working, stop working. We don't have fluids, we don't have enough sodium and chlorine to keep working. So stop, shut down for a moment. Generally, that is what happens when somebody is running marathon. Okay, they get cramps and they suddenly stop. They are not, the muscles are not prepared to run further. Okay, they are not well prepared, so they have to stop, they have to relax that particular muscle, they have to give fluid, they have to give sodium chloride. Once the muscle gets all these things, it's again ready, they start running. See, sodium and chloride may be there, but there is no water to circulate that. So fluid intake is also equally important. We cannot cook a food unless and until we put water into it. No, rice may be there, but if we don't add water to it, how will the rice cook? The same phenomena takes place here also. So, one is wrong position, another is less amount of fluid, less amount of sodium or chloride. So, all these things comes together and we will have muscular pull or cramp. Anything else related? See, muscular dystrophy is something which is again, it's a neuron problem. So it's a genetic disorder which happens because of nervous system.
Is this muscle wastage also genetic?
Yes, muscle wastage can also happen genetically. Yes. Again, it's nervous system. They are not able to have proper muscular coordination or proper breakdown, and the thing is not happening. It's a genetically, they have the genetic problems. They are not able to do it. Skeletal system again, main function of bones is to support our body. Okay, then bones, they are the only source of calcium and phosphorus, so they have nutrients, they support the skeletal system, and they protect our inner organs. Bones are required for these three functions: protections, support, and nourishment. Okay, we have, yeah, Radhika.
Hi. A quick question. I want to know how does myasthenia gravis start? I know it's a abnormal weakness of the muscles,
I'm not
but
able to
it's
hear you properly. What is it?
myasthenia,
What is myasthenia?
MS. They say MS or myasthenia gravis. It's a condition that causes abnormal weakness of particular muscles. Not all, but in
Mhm.
certain spaces.
And who particularly, who has it? Is it a
Well,
degenerative disease or
yeah, it is. It's actually a 72-year-old friend's father has it,
okay?
and there is no medication as such. I mean, there's only painkillers that you can take, but it keeps increasing, and that's only painkillers can do the job. So I
See,
want to know how.
that is purely, that particular, even dementia, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's. Okay, all these things, muscular degeneration, which happens with age, all these things are related to the nervous system.
Mhm.
Okay, and
It says it's a chronic autoimmune
y-
disease.
yes, see, autoimmune disease is also, it's what is autoimmune disorder? What happens? We are coming
Means
across that term very often nowadays. Yeah.
it's to do with the immunity levels, right?
So autoimmune disorder is actually where our own immune system attacks our own immune system. It is
Mm-hmm.
autoimmune.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, generally, what we are trained for is anything extra which comes into our body. It can be microbes, it can be dust, it can be any infection, anything. Okay. So,
Mm-hmm.
we have to fight that foreign body. That is how our body's immunity system is trained. But nowadays, what has started happening is cancer is one form of autoimmune disorder where our immune system mistakes our own body organs as a foreign body and it starts attacking it. Sometimes it is the kidney. Our own immune system will destroy the kidney. Our own immune system will destroy the muscle. Okay, and so it is autoimmune. Our own immunity is destroying our own organs.
But why? I mean, what could be the
See,
neuroscience or whatever?
it's a very new topic, and so much research is going on in this. Broadly, people like scientists are saying that it is due to the lifestyle which we are leading. You know, there is so much of imbalance in the way we are living our life that our body is not able to distinguish between foreign bodies and our own body parts. So somewhere it is related to the lifestyle.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
It so it's broadly it's a lifestyle disorder and it can
Mm.
happen at any age. Even a 15-year-old boy has his Selena Gomez. You know Selena Gomez?
Mm.
Hmm?
Yeah.
She got her kidney transplanted. She had autoimmune disorder. Her kidney got affected because of AID only. So even youngsters are having that problem now.
Mm.
It is purely lifestyle related as of now. There are okay. What happens in blood cancer? What kind of treatment is given? What surgery happens in blood cancer? What surgery can happen in blood cancer? Tell me.
The
See,
bone
if
marrow.
it's a yes, bone marrow. What is bone marrow?
That's the part that produces the blood cells, red blood cells.
Absolutely, yes. It is bones. And since I was talking about the functions of bones, most important function is they produce blood cells. Bone marrow is the one which produces blood cells. Now, when bone marrow itself is affected, then how can blood be produced? And even if it is produced, it's all cancerous in nature. So bone marrow problem is also autoimmune in nature. Sometimes our own immunity attacks our bone marrow. So what they do is they completely change the bone marrow. Transplantation takes place. Okay, that is why nowadays we are having. It has been there for 20 years now. When the child is born, they take the mother's stem cells and they store it so that in future if the child is going to have some kind of autoimmune disorder or bone marrow related problems, then stem cells can be used for treating that particular problem. Okay, but storage of stem cells is again a very costly affair. Our country is not so rich. Yeah. We are talking about skeletal system. Okay, so four functions: bone marrow, protection, support, and nourishment. Apart from that, we have 208 bones in our body. Those things you don't have to learn. But what you have to know is kind of joints we have. Bones, mainly we have joints. which are very interesting. When I actually see all our day-to-day equipments or lifestyle things that we are using, they are human-centric only, isn't it? Aarti must be known. So, the most common joint is
Ball and socket, hinge joint,
what is it? Bone and socket joint.
the shoulder where you set the ball and
So it is
legs around.
180 degrees we can rotate it. 180 degrees we can rotate it. In which product have we used this particular feature?
This
Sewing machine.
the lifting, no, no, but the lifting of the cars, use that pressure.
Yes. Yeah, that is there. Then, yes, all those things are based on that. Then, even that mortar and pestle, right? So now you understand when we are using this so often, mortar and pestle are literally, they are, that is, hey, hello. Okay, mortar and pestle is used to grind. So just imagine how much grinding will take place in this part of our. That is why very often people end up with pain here. We don't have proper muscular density. Fluids are also going down, so we end up grinding ourselves. That is ball and socket joint. Then
Again,
hinge joint.
exercise is the best thing to build up muscles there. Is it?
Yes, we have to break down those muscles so that they regrow, and it's for everything, for the health of the bone we have to grow those muscles. Hinge joint.
The leg and the elbow.
Doors.
One.
Yeah, doors are all made of this hinge joint. Okay. Then pivotal joint.
I think the leg,
Neck. See, only side to side movement is possible. Okay, we do rotation also. This is pivotal joint. Then there are saddle joint, candyloid joint, gliding joint. Many types of joints are there. I'm sure it will be given in your book. You have to write an exam for this. Okay, then you will study and then you will forget. This is not something which we can remember at all. Okay, so yeah, basically only this much. There is anything else we need to cover? Ambika Akka told me only these. She told me to cover nervous system mainly,
Uh,
and
would it be possible to give us some kind of like notes, or because definitely all of these terms I'm going to forget, and it's definitely
I
going to be
know.
tested in the exam, and I'm
But you
like,
will
oh
be
my god, because
having the
all
study
the
material, no?
videos.
You'll be having the study material, no?
yeah,
But
I think
in
we
the
will
material,
be
will you be
giving us.
including these things that you have taught us?
No. See, I'm sorry to say
No, right?
this. Okay. You know,
Okay.
what you study from the book, you're not going to remember. You are going to remember it only for the examination. So
Yeah.
that is a different thing altogether. But what you
Mm.
learn during these classes, okay, that won't be asked in your exam paper at all. So whatever you are going to learn during these classes, you just have to remember it and experience it and use it in your day-to-day life. That's all. That's the most important purpose of these classes. Exam is one part, of course. You have book, you have to study, you have to write exam, you have to get the certificate, everything. But classes are much more enriching. So many things will be
Mm.
told. You will have to just. So it won't be asked in your examination. Don't worry. These things are not
But
for
if there are
exams.
questions that I would personally, I'm not talking about anybody else, speaking about me, if I have questions on your particular portions that you have covered in the study material,
Yeah, you can
who
always
can I
ask me.
go to?
You can always ask me. Okay. See, I didn't even refer to your study material actually because That is what Ambika Akka told. Teach what is more practically for physiology part. There is no point in just doing the bookish learning, right? Book,
Yeah.
you will have all those things you can learn and write, but practically how and what and why is more useful. So those things I taught you, but in the book, if you have any doubt, you can always ask me.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
Anything
maybe we'll
else?
get your email ID from
Yeah,
Purna.
yeah. Purna or Ambika Akka will. Yeah, Purna will surely can.
Thank you.
Okay?
Sorry, I had to keep my video off because each time I put on my video, my network was going and I couldn't hear your voice properly. So I kept
No
it off, but I
problem.
was
Yeah.
like,
But your
thank you.
background is very pretty. What is it?
Thank you. It's an Indian screen from Jaipur.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. It's like IIM Ahmedabad's logo, you know, that
Ah,
Jali. Ah. Okay, okay then. Okay, enjoy your other sessions. They are going to be very good. Okay, bye.
Thank
thank
you,
you so
Pam.
much.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, bye.
Are you a doctor, Akka? Yeah.
I am a healthcare professional, but not a doctor. I'm a nutritionist.
Um,
Thank you,
so you
ma'am.
are at Chennai?
Yes, I'm based at Chennai.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, bye,
Thank you,
Revati.
Pam.
Bye, Aarti.
Bye.